And we're live.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to So What About Crypto? And Bill, you and I talk about a lot of things. I always say that when we start a podcast, but I know everybody lately has something to say about journalism and the
Yeah.
media,
I've
especially
had a
si-
lot to say about them lately, quite honestly.
yes,
But
but you're not alone. A lot of people have their thoughts. I would say lately they haven't been the best opinions about the media, but everyone's entitled to their opinion, and they're certainly without any merit. Certainly aren't without merit because there have been some grave mistakes and just not as much care put into journalism as there used to be. And
yeah,
as you know, I spent 21 years in the news business, and there's a reason why I left. Several, but that's one of the biggest ones. But there are problems on a local level, and there are problems on a national level, and they're very different.
yeah, yeah. You and I have talked about that. A couple of years ago, I remember asking a lot about that and trying to get a sense of, here I am with a industry professional. Give me the inside scoop. What the hell is really going on in those newsrooms? And it sounded to me like the impression you gave me was it was quite a bit different on that level. That you were, more localized, and it was, newsy instead of opinionated.
Not yeah, on the local level, really not much punditry. We would invite people on to talk, professors, political professors, local political pundits, but they would have their opinions. It would not come from us. On a national level, it's
Yeah,
different because that's cable, it's paid, and it's a totally different ball game. And I
yeah.
believe it's also totally out of control, which is why we have Linton Johnson, who is the founder of OVIS.News here with us today. And
Lyndon, Linton.
I want to disclose right off the bat that Linton is a founder of OVIS.News, but I'm also a co-founder and on the advisory board. Linton and I both have an extensive background in television news.
Mm,
Linton was also a television news reporter and anchor for several networks. The last one you worked for was for NBC up in the Bay Area in
Hmm.
California. So we know some of the same people. Some of those people have crossed paths, and those people led Linton and I to meet each other because we both, Bill, were at points in our careers where we saw the troubles rising with journalism. And we also had our aha moment with Bitcoin and blockchain. And we
yeah,
both knew that we wanted to merge the two somehow and make things better. So that's how our paths crossed. And we've been working together ever since. And I have to say, it's been an absolute joy. Linton is a compassionate, smart person. And when you hear more about Ovis, I hope you're more excited about the future of journalism like we are. Linton has poured his heart and soul into this. And for us, it's personal.
It's very personal. And first of all, thank you for allowing me to come onto your amazing show. And, you and I, Elsa, have shared almost like identical careers, like the parallel
Yeah.
in so many ways. And I think that's what attracted us to each other.
Hmm.
You talked about all the circles we've run around in when we all know that news is an incestuous world. It's a very small world.
Yeah, it is a snake pit. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
it's a snake bit. Yes.
kind of
snake
it
pit.
really
I've never
can
heard that.
be. Oh, it
Oh yeah.
absolutely can be.
Mm.
Because you think of all these people who have all these resources at their fingertips, and you're working with some very talented, smart people. Not all of them
Yeah. Yeah.
are that way, but
Right.
nonetheless, it's still a place where people want to move up. They're jockeying for
Hmm.
position, just like any other career. And when you get people who are on air involved, it adds that element of entertainment, hence the term
Hmm.
that popped up over the years, infotainment. And
Infotainment.
you get the egos, and you get all
Yeah,
those other things that jumble everything up, and it creates drama. So, that's not the fun part of it.
It is not the fun part of it.
Well,
And,
I'd have to
you go to
say,
journalism. Go ahead.
well, no, I'm interested in hearing about what you were going to say about journalism school, because it kind of leads to my, next question, I think.
Well, I went to Northwestern University's journalism school, Medill School of Journalism. And,
which is
I got,
fancy.
it's,
Very
that's a little
fancy.
fancy. It's a little fancy. We like to say that we're number one in the country, and well,
Well,
kind
you
of
are.
are.
You are. Yes, and in the journalism world, definitely, absolutely,
Yes,
you guys are
definitely.
top
Yeah.
notch for journalism.
But, at school, you learn about the values of telling the truth and trying to be as objective as possible, and transparency, democracy, all of those core values as a journalist, you embrace. It's the reason why you want to go into journalism. You just have a desire to be able to tell the truth, present the facts in an objective way, and let other people make their decisions based upon that story. Of course, you want to tell a great story, but not one that is trying to drive an agenda. And, at Northwestern and journalism schools all across the country, I think they're really striving for those ideals. And then you get into the corporate media, and they've got different goals. Their goals are to drive up ratings. Their goals are to get you to click. And the truth seems to kind of slip away. It's not that they don't want to cover stories truthfully, but they've got an agenda, because their agenda really is about clicks and ratings.
And money.
If the truth and money, right? Because that drives the clicks and ratings drive profits. And there are only a few people get the profits. Those are the shareholders of the corporate media outlets. So, the drive every single morning in the morning meeting is, all right, what story is going to get us the most clicks? What story is going to get us the highest ratings? And when that is your focus, and your focus is not on the truth, I mean, you say in the back of your head that I'm going to do a true story, but your agenda changes and your focus changes, and the truth starts to slip. And then you find yourself as a journalist doing stories that you're like, well, this is not really what I went to journalism school for. But
Oh God,
I do have a paycheck.
How many times have you said that to yourself?
Right.
While you're covering a tree down in the street, or a car chase, or ooh, it's windy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's rain. It's raining. We need to have live team coverage of the rain.
Have you seen this new phenomenon? It's called rain.
Right.
It's happening.
Oh, or snow.
Snow. Well,
snow.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? This is shocking.
Right,
the
so,
snow.
But Bill, I know
confirms my theory that you guys you TV guys are all in the break room. This is the conversation, the cynical, conversations about, oh my God, I got to cover this BS today.
Yep.
Rain again.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Live team coverage.
Yes.
You got to go out.
Live team coverage.
No, it's always live team coverage of the rain.
It's always live team coverage, or Storm Watch.
Yeah.
2020, 20, 21, 22. It'll be Storm Watch 2030.
Yeah.
But
right, so I want to take it deeper then. I want to talk about this whole, what I perceive now on a national level. And, and Elsa, I do a lot of research on, all kinds of deep things, and maybe borderline conspiratorial, you could say, about history of, corporate media and banks and propaganda and the like. But, it's just, I don't think it can be denied that, regardless of the leaning, left or right of a national news organization these days, there's some talking points being passed around. And as just an observer, I'm like, who's handing that stuff out? Because everybody's using the same buzzwords on the same day about the same thing. And I just feel personally like somebody at the top, whoever that dark person is, that dark soul may be, that corporate media talking, person pulling strings. Somebody, in my opinion, is just saying, here's what you're going to say today to everyone.
The man behind the curtain.
It's multiple outlets. All right.
Yes.
So, do you guys have knowledge, or are you willing to impart the knowledge to me of who the hell's doing this?
Okay. Just to ease your mind, Bill, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about some puppet masters like, a Bill Gates or a George Soros that run the left liberal media.
Yeah.
And, we're all on the take to take their positions. And, it's crazy. First of all, in my 21 years in TV news, I haven't gotten one check from Soros, and I am pissed. Because I keep hearing about everybody in the liberal media getting checks from this guy, and I haven't seen anything. So I'm going to put in for back pay. But no, it's not. Bill, seriously, it's not that nefarious, at least on a local level. I can't speak to the national level, and I agree with you.
On local level,
but I agree with you on the national level. There isn't so much like the man behind the curtain type of thing, pulling the strings, like this unknown figure. But I say it's more of a trickle down effect where, people at the top maybe kind of have the agenda for the day, and then you have your executive producers and producers who craft stories with then the on-air people, the reporters, the anchors, and everybody gets on the same page. There's no like secret plot where everyone's sitting there going, okay, today we're going to tell people to think this.
Well, but you can't deny I literally see like one cable news station say something, a buzz phrase of the day, and the other one at almost the same time will use the same terminology.
Well, so that does actually happen, and I think to Elsa's point, it's not necessarily that it was designed that way, right. But if you think about it, there is a central for most news organizations like conglomerates. They've got kind of a central desk where all the copy is written, and then they disseminate it out to all their affiliates. And I think it's probably more a lack of laziness. From the affiliates to rewrite the copy. They just take what was given to them, and then because they're so strapped with people, they don't have time to rewrite stuff. And if it's already written, it's like, well, just copy paste, and then the anchor will say it.
So it's like the AP is doing it,
Sort of, but when you're getting things on the feed, you could get things from the AP and other news sources, Reuters, and all that kind of stuff. But there are also all of our affiliates. I last worked at CBS, so we'd have a feed from all the CBS affiliates on local stories happening in all their local areas, and we'd pull in the interesting stories, and there would be this level of trust there because you would hope that they went through the channels of checking everything before they dumped it on the feed to send out to all the other CBS stations to be able to say, pick and choose. Oh, we like this story. We like this story. Oh, that's a cool story out of Minnesota, or that's an interesting story out of Texas. And put it all together. So it's not like, again, an evil plot to craft something that's going to manipulate you. I agree with Linton. There is a combination of things: laziness, skeleton crews, as newsrooms see budgets dry up every single year, investigative units taken away, consumer units taken away. So you have all these people who have a wealth of experience that now the networks no longer want to pay. So you're left with, people who don't have very much experience, and they're turning out content, and it's not necessarily quality anymore or 100% checked.
Right. Yeah, and I think they've got a newscast to fill. 5 o'clock comes on at 5 o'clock every single day. You can't wait. So it's like you've got 30 minutes of maybe minus commercials that you got to fill. And so if you got a skeleton crew, the script is already written, you don't have time to go back and double check all the facts in there. One thing that makes sense, I think, in the moment is just copy and paste what's there. Don't try to change it around, because if you change it around, you might make a mistake. If you don't have the opportunity to go back and investigate it, and as Elsa said, there's a level of trust. Well, this came from our sister affiliate. They must have done the work. And so let's just keep it the same. So, I think you see like on Sinclair and YouTube, there's these videos where, they have like 50 different stations from the Sinclair network or whatever it is, whatever network, and all the anchors are saying exactly the same thing. Well, that's probably what happened. I don't think there's an evil plot. It's just lack of resources. And
although I will say with Sinclair, because before I came back home to LA and worked at CBS, I was working at a TV station in San Antonio for 5 years, an NBC affiliate, and we were owned by small television groups. And the last year I was there, Sinclair purchased the station.
oh,
Now, that last year I was there, I was on maternity leave for 4 months because I had my son. And then I left shortly after that when I came back to work for a few months and then came back home to LA. But the short time that I was at Sinclair, what happens there is that there is one central reporter or a few. They write the same copy, the same script of a message they want to send out. Now, this is absolutely targeted. I can tell you, I was there every day. I mean, it's still happening with Sinclair. They send that script out to all of their affiliates, and they demand that they be run in their shows. There is no choice.
well, then there's your conspiracy right there.
So, Bill, I mean, I can confirm that for Sinclair. I worked for them. I worked for a brief time, and when that started, when they bought us, and that started happening, all of us were like, "What the fuck? Like what? We're being we have to say word for word what it says on that script that's sent out to all the affiliates. We have to run the story, not edit it down at all. It has to come in, be aired in its exact form that it was sent to all the Sinclair affiliates. And we have to read the script exactly how it was sent. So imagine Sinclair owns, I don't know how many stations they own now, 50, 75. I have no idea. In their attempt to take over the world, but every single one of their anchors at every single one of those stations are reading the same exact script and running the same exact story because they have an agenda and they are demanding that you air that story.
And who owns
if
Sinclair?
Google's right, 294 television stations.
294, holy cow.
And who owns Sinclair? Like, is there
No, they're their own television.
But I mean, who owns them? Like, who are the major stockholders, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know, but Sinclair, it's very well known that Sinclair is very right wing. They lean that way very hard. And so when they came and bought the station and started mandating these, they're called must runs, that we must run these stories in the shows. The producers don't have a choice. You as an anchor don't have a choice. If you don't want to read it, then they'll give it to the other anchor. And if you keep refusing that, then there's going to be a problem. So that was
to what degree did that factor into you deciding to leave the newsroom?
Well, I mean, I wanted to get out of that station after Sinclair bought it, quite honestly, because of that. That was my first direct, like wide in the open, not even hiding it, experience with that kind of mandate coming down from up above. Right. So that really bothered me, and it bothered everybody in that newsroom. But, everybody was like, what do we do? I mean, you resist.
You got a family. You've got a family. You got a mortgage.
Right. And
they got you by the what.
But so that, this will be my last question on this part. But I think Megyn Kelly kind of proved it to us. Like, it's I see reporters have their sort of biases revealed, but I saw that with Megyn Kelly, and then she went to another station and she had a new bias. And she had a huge paycheck to go with it.
Right, exactly. Because money talks, right, Linton?
Yeah.
I mean, and you were pointing out, Linton, that the lines start to get blurred when corporate gets involved because they're a business. The networks want to make money. They want the stories that drive the clicks. They want the stories that make the money, that get the attention. Right. And it just seems like that's the problem that we've seen with so many industries, the insurance industry, hospitals, jails. Mm-hmm. When you monetize something, shit gets messed up. The lines get really blurred. I mean,
but here's the difference with OVIS, but you're right about that. But I think what we have figured out, our business model that Elsa and I and the rest of the team have figured out, is that we have to recognize that money does drive the world. So how do we incentivize the truth? Instead of incentivizing clicks and ratings, how do we incentivize the truth? So that way, in order for you to earn money on the OVIS platform, you have to tell the truth. And so that's what the game changer is with OVIS. We've disrupted the news industry, the corporate media world, and we have created a model where the more truth that is told on our platform, the more money a journalist can make. But if they start to lie, or they start to bend the truth, or they try to put out fake news, then they lose money. So I don't think there's a way to get out of, trying to change the world by saying we're not going to use money anymore. That's just what it is. So let's use it to our advantage.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money and make a good living,
right?
And do as,
but not at the
as
expense
much
of
as
the
you can.
truth.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And that's where OVIS
Right.
is different. And you were saying, Linton, that you tell the truth, you continue to gain credibility in the OVIS community, and that allows you to make more money, because then more people trust you, and more people, and so on and so on, so you start earning more trust. And with trust comes more money, and the rating,
and more truth.
your rating, and your rating continues to climb in a favorable way in the OVIS community. So that people start to have their trusted sources where they know, or the consensus is in the OVIS community that this person is generally telling the truth almost always. I can trust this person to be non-biased about a story. I can trust this person that I'm getting the facts. And so, just like Linton said, the truth is incentivized.
So tell me how that works. I'm still a little confused in reading the website. It's like I'm the type of person I almost have to do it to get it. But see if you can let us know, like how I would like to say a content creator or journalist would get started.
Well, let me ask you a question. What story are you interested in that you're not seeing the news media cover right now?
Oh, wow. Where do I start? I think, also, and some of our listeners, because I mentioned once in a while, I'm very interested in the Federal Reserve and how the gigantic power structure that it supports globally, how we don't really see how that does exert enormous power on other countries, how it's, extracting money from everyday people like you and me through inflation and, all of those things. We just don't, as Americans, or I guess global, people, citizens of the world, just aren't aware. We're just blissfully unaware. And I wish some really good journalists would just dig deep and hard on that sort of thing.
Okay, so we'll call that, in the newsroom, we call the title of a story a slug. So the slug of your story is the Federal Reserve. That kind of summarizes what we're talking about today. So on the OVIS platform, everybody has a token. Now, think of a token as, if you're really old school, when you rode the subway, you had a token, right? Or if you go to the fair, or if you gamble, you have to buy tokens or chips, right? So you go into, let's say, a gambling facility, and you buy your chips so that way you can participate in gambling, or you go into a fair and you buy tickets. It's the same thing. It's a token, but a token is a digital piece of money. And it's like money 2.0. It's money on steroids, because not only is it money, but it can also act like a ballot. It can act like a store of value. It's very versatile. But the token is really important to answering the question that you just had. So the way the newsrooms work right now, the corporate media works, is there are a select few people who decide what the agenda is of the day. On the OVIS platform, we let the people decide. We want you to decide what the news is. So you can put up your slug is basically the Federal Reserve. So you put on there on the OVIS platform, I like a journalist to cover the Federal Reserve, and you describe it and blah, 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 what you'd like to understand. So then other people on the platform have tokens. They bought these tokens, and let's say each token is worth $1. They bought these tokens, and they use your tokens to vote on that Federal Reserve story. And say the Federal Reserve story comes with, 50,000 people vote, and they put one token. That's $50,000 worth of tokens that is now attached to that story. And so what the community has now said is, wow, not only do we want to hear about this story, we're willing to put our money where our mouth is. And we want a journalist to go out and cover it. The journalist's like, $50,000? I can make $50,000 off of this story? Yeah, but you got to tell the truth about it. So the journalist goes out and they've got a bag of money, a purse of money attached to this story. They go cover it.
Now,
and then they submit.
Do they receive it? Like literally, they have access to that money, or it's a carrot waiting for the end of the project.
It's a carrot waiting. Yes,
Definitely.
It's a carrot waiting.
We'd have a lot of people disappearing to Ibiza if we gave it to them first.
Okay.
Yeah. So the whole community. So you as a reader will have tokens. There's going to be a group of people called fact checkers. And when the journalist submits their story to the fact checkers, these fact checkers are approved by the community. They were voted on by the community. The fact checkers are supposed to uphold the Constitution of OVIS, or the charter, all the ground rules to ensuring that a story is fact checked properly and that it is fair and objective. So if the story passes the fact checker's review, then the journalist gets to keep there's actually one more step, but the journalist is now past step one in the effort to keep that purse of $50,000 tokens. Then the community gets to vote on the objectivity of the story. And let's just say the scale is, and we haven't finalized this piece yet, but it'll be something along these lines. Let's say the scale is 1 to 100 in objectiveness. If it receives a 100% objective rating, then the journalist gets to keep all $50,000. If it receives a 90% rating, they get only 90% of the $50,000. So at every step along the way, they're trying to ensure the truth and ensure that that story is objective. Because if they don't, they lose money. And they could even get kicked off the platform in some cases. So that's kind of the 30,000-foot view of how we incentivize the truth. And we make a whole community built around wanting only truthful stories. Now, here's the last part of this. You as a token holder, so this ecosystem starts to make money, right? The platform will start to take, a fee for each of these things. And that's to pay for the operation of the platform. But any profits that the platform makes will be returned to the community of token holders. That means you as a reader or a viewer will get profits because we redistribute the money. And unlike in corporate media where it only goes to a select few shareholders and they get rich and they don't really care, all the money goes back to we the people. It's about the people. It's we the people, by the people, and of the people. So that money goes back to the token holders, you the reader, and you're like, well, obviously I want more money. Yeah. So an only way to get more money is to ensure the truth. So there's all these checks and balances on the journalists, on the fact checkers, on the community. And as long as we're all aiming for one thing, the truth, we can all make money.
And Linton, there was something we've all been adamant about with OVIS is that the old model of shareholders being way up here, the tiny percent of a company, a big corporation, and then the rest of us, worker bees, human stock, whatever we're seen as, we didn't want that at all, because that's part of what's driving the problem. The shareholders put the pressure on the lower people to turn the profits and get the clicks and do the stories and whatever their agendas are. This diffuses that. It breaks it up and breaks up that little exclusive club that makes the money. And now it's all in the people's hands, in the community's hands, the OVIS community's hands. So it's, we're all taking care of each other in a way, as opposed to working our butts off to take care of a tiny group of people we'll never see who don't really care about us.
Can you imagine Sinclair trying to operate within this, they go bankrupt within Ovis. Because we're like, I mean, nobody
0% of your money you get. Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, I'm sorry, we're not approving that story.
Yeah, no,
Right?
no.
You're kicked off the platform.
Yeah.
I mean, it could never happen.
Right. And those are the things, Linton, that prevent people who have an agenda, who get into Ovis, right? Because we ask these questions of ourselves as we've been kind of putting this together. I mean, Linton's done the lion's share of the work, no doubt. This is his baby, but we've all thought of these situations like, wow, what if you have a whole group of conservatives and a whole group of liberals getting on Ovis and trying to drive an agenda? Well, they'll be weeded out pretty quickly because the community will see that, come on, this is so biased. I'm taking my token back.
All right, yeah, right. I guess that would be my concern as a sort of a 51% attack type of thing. Whoever has the most tokens wins. Could a person buy their way into that?
No. Well, here's the thing: there's only one person, one vote. And the other thing is, everybody on this platform is validated. So one of the biggest problems in social media, in fact, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to start Ovis, is that there's so much fake news out there. There are bots, there are duplicates, there are people pretending to be who they are not. And on the Ovis platform, everybody has to be validated. So we have a validation process that ensures that each person is real, not a bot, not a duplicate. So and you only get one vote.
So now it's becoming more clear to me. So is this the type of place that, similar to AP News or Reuters, where, outlets go to source stories? Is this what you're trying to make it, or is it a platform that an everyday viewer just might go watch news?
It could be both. Yeah, I mean, it could be both. The stories that will be on our platform will be validated, trustworthy, and accurate. And so if, CNN or MSNBC or Sinclair wants to actually report on real, unbiased, factually based, trustworthy, accurate, verifiable news, they could definitely come to us and know that they're going to get an unbiased, factually based, trustworthy, verifiable, and accurate story. Right. Now, if they want to if they want to do what they continue doing, they can. We're not trying to solve their problems. We're creating a whole new paradigm.
Right. And the token holders, when you say they're validated as, being real people, so that's the reason I asked about, is this going to be a platform where everybody would come consume news? That scale represents a lot of work for you guys to sort of really do a know your customer type of thing. So
well, the technology is a lot better now to be able to validate folks. We're most likely going, I'm not going to give the company name because we haven't made a final decision on it yet, but there's about 3 different companies that we're very happy with. They've got almost like a 99% accuracy rate in ensuring that people are real and validated. They can validate folks. So that's going to be essential to this, because we need you to trust, as a viewer or a reader, we need you to trust that the fact that the journalist interviewed somebody is also real, that the journalist is real, and that their sources are real, because the part of the fact-checking process will be that, did the journalist validate their sources? Did they go through our fact-checking and ensure that the sources are who they are? We're going to require that every source be validated. So there's no bots, there's no duplicates, no people making up quotes from people that don't actually exist.
So do I have to sort of get some marching orders or incentives from Ovis before I go create the story, or could I create a story? Let's say I was already creating some stories about the Federal Reserve, and I just said, well, hey, I'm going to try to get these on this Ovis platform. How does that work?
Well,
I'm not going out to create what I think the token holders have asked for. I just have already been doing it, but could I leverage that onto the platform?
Absolutely, you could. Now, that would require you coming up with your own tokens to be able to pay for the validation part of it, but not in the first round in what we call the MVP, the minimal viable product. That's the That's what we're launching on Labor Day weekend. But in the second round, when we go to beta stage, the if you wanted to bring your own story like the Federal Reserve, you didn't want to put it up for a token vote, then you can put it on the platform. The fact checkers will be able to validate that, and then people can then tip you. So that's one way to kind of get yourself started. So if this story is really great, people on the platform say, yeah, it's been validated, it's trustworthy, it's accurate, it's objective, and this guy did a great job. I'm going to tip him. And then this now kind of starts, especially young journalists or early in their careers, even if they're not particularly young, this helps them gain their credibility. So they've been validated by the community. They've got a list of stories that the community says are factually accurate, trustworthy, and verifiable. And then as they start to pitch stories onto the platform, then people are like, oh yeah, I know that journalist. He has done a body of work that is excellent. And I think that's probably a good story idea. I'm gonna vote on that as well.
And the people who are in the community, Bill, are obviously, you see how it's very community driven. So you're incentivized to vote, to stake your tokens on stories you like, because the more people that do that and the more that story succeeds, the more you get back and continue to earn yourself. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's not like how you hear a lot of times in crypto communities where, you know, the buzzword is hodl, which means, you know, hold on to your Bitcoin and as a store of value and let it grow, you know, and let it gain value.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Different. What's that?
Can we talk about that piece? I think
absolutely.
You are really instrumental, and feel free to jump in because you're really instrumental in helping us talk about the trustworthiness of our token. One of the things for those crypto nerds that are out there, like ourselves,
yes,
we're different. Our token is really different than any other token that's out there. It's the first of a kind hybrid token. So what does that mean? This is, usually you have a token that you just want to hold on to, don't want to do anything with. Those are stores of values. Those are like stocks, right? Then you've got the utility token, which doesn't have any value, but you can use it to participate in that ecosystem. And then there are a couple other types of tokens. Ours is a hybrid. It combines the best of all of these different worlds. And what's really unique about this is the fact that it's not subject to Security and Exchange Commission rules. And the reason for that is there was a Supreme Court decision that defined what a security is. And there's a 4-pronged test called the Howey test. And the 4th prong says a security is when someone purchases something in the hopes of it gaining value, and here's the key, on the backs of everyone else's efforts. So you sit back like a stock, you own a stock and you do anything and you wait for the stock prices to rise. Well, that makes it a security. On our platform, you have to actually use your tokens for the remaining tokens to have any value. So I buy 1,000 tokens. I have to do a certain number of activities to improve the platform with a portion of my tokens in order for the remaining tokens that I have to be able to increase in value. So that's kind of the game changer for this, because now our tokens act like a ballot. They act like a store of value, money. They can act like an investment instrument, all in one digital asset. And they're not subject to SEC, we don't believe, because of the fact that it doesn't meet the 4th prong of the Howey test. So with that, we're a game changer for those crypto folks who are looking to buy a token that you can use and also earn money as it increases in value.
So it's not a token that would be listed on an exchange anywhere?
Well, we hope that it'll be listed on an exchange. We're going to
someday, we hope.
Yeah. I mean, right now there are a lot of tokens that are privately traded, so you'll be able to buy it definitely from the OVIS platform. It's an Ethereum-based token, so it's Ethereum technology. And what right now you'll do is you'll buy Ether, and then exchange it for our token, all on the platform with one click of a button.
Okay, because that's the part that makes it fuzzy for me about the potential of it being speculative investment. And,
Yes.
And as it relates to the fourth prong of the Howey test.
Right. So I've answered the question, right?
Well, yes,
Or
you've
not?
answered it. I still don't know if I can, not that I'm saying
You
I
need to see it in
believe
action.
you. I just,
Right.
I have to take pause from that point of view to say, is it really is it really safe from that part of the Howey test? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the fact is, the Howey test specifically says that you have to. It's a security if you are letting other people do the work, and you're earning the money off the backs of other
and
people.
so because you're saying if you don't use that token, it's losing the value.
Well, you can't. It's basically worthless until you use a
see.
portion of your
Yeah,
tokens.
yeah.
So, I mean, they're locked. What happens on our platform is, say you buy 1,000 tokens, they're all locked. You can't sell them, period.
Mm-hmm.
Until you perform these actions on the platform. You got to vote. You got to post a story. You've got to participate in this community, because participating in the community now adds value. And you've got to be part of that process. If you're going to just sit back and wait for your tokens to go up, well, then we're not going to let you do that. So you're not going to be able to trade it.
You're not adding value at all to the community. We need you to be active. We need you to vote. We need you to have an opinion. We need you to pitch your story ideas and say, I'd like to see someone cover this. That's the whole point, is community driven, for the people, by the people, as opposed to all the models we see now, which is, shareholders and everybody else. That's not how we want to roll.
This is all built through smart contracts on Ethereum.
Yes.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yep. Are you ready for Ethereum 2.0?
I don't know if Ethereum is ready for Ethereum 2.0.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. But this is journalism 2.0. So.
This is definitely journalism 2.0. This is a whole new paradigm in journalism. My favorite scene is from the show Silicon Valley on HBO. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'd encourage people to look it up on YouTube. There's a scene where Richard, who is the CEO of Pied Piper, this is a blockchain-based company that's going to disrupt the internet, and he gets up before Congress, and he's talking about how his company can change the world when it comes to ensuring privacy for folks. And Congress is demanding that he explain why Facebook and Twitter and all the rest are taking your privacy. And he basically says this, and I'm going to butcher it, so it's really fun to watch it on YouTube. But the idea is that he can't change Facebook. He can't change Twitter. They're the kings. They're dominant. It's not unlike when the pilgrims, before they were pilgrims over in Europe, were sick and tired of the tyranny of the kings. They couldn't beat the kings. They've already won. They're the kings. So they had to just go to a whole new world and rewrite everything. And so that's what we did at OVIS. We're rewriting everything. We can't beat CNN. We can't beat MSNBC and Fox News. They're the kings of the media world. And we're not even going to try. Why try? They've got problems so big we can't fix them. So we're creating.
We don't want to fix them. We don't
want
to fix their problem.
You're going to take your toys and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're moving somewhere else.
Yeah. But again, that's the philosophy that, no, we're just going to go around these problems and do better.
Exactly. Creating a whole new paradigm, reinventing the news from the bottom up, but keeping to our core values, which is trustworthy, verifiable, and accurate news. What everybody wants. We want the truth. Everybody wants the truth, and you'll be able to find that on our platform.
Now, how do you pick your fact checkers? How do you avoid the inevitable accusation that, well, who's your fact checkers? What do they believe in? Because there's always going to be some subjectivity to that.
Right. Great question. So the fact checkers, we're going to go through a process. We're going through a process of picking right now a model of fact checking that will be validated by the community to ensure objectivity. So and when we launch on Labor Day weekend, what we're doing is we're inviting people who are skilled at journalism and skilled at fact checking, and we're helping create a model that all the community can agree upon, Republicans, Democrats, everybody in between, people from around the world. We all come together and we create a model that is objective. The fact checkers, once that model is created and we all agree upon it, we all validate it, we come to consensus on this model, then the fact checkers are required to uphold that model that we all, as a community, by the people for the people we create, can agree. They have to abide by that model, and then now the community can be a check on the fact checkers. If the fact checkers fail to do their jobs, they can lose their position instantaneously. With smart contracts, we don't have to wait for an election. They are basically on notice every single day. So their whole focus is to ensure the truth. And if the community starts to see that they're not upholding the charter of how fact checking is supposed to be done, then they can get voted off the island. They can lose money. And we, the community, want the truth, and truth is being incentivized. And if the fact checkers aren't doing their job, then we're all losing out. So there's an incentive to make sure that these fact checkers are honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how does that launch look? What is it literally going to be?
Well, we're going to be.
We hope it's fabulous.
Well, I mean,
Yes,
what are you literally
yes.
doing?
Well, I
Are
mean,
you
you're talking to the chief fabulous officer right now.
Yeah.
So,
That's what CFO
Elsa.
means. I've been wondering all
yes,
this
that's
time.
what Elsa's title is. She's chief fabulous
That's what it
officer.
is.
So
I don't know anything about
literally, like, when
finances. F is for
is
fabulous.
this meaning when you say launch, is it just we're just going to now make the website and program live, or are you having some events, or what do you have in mind?
Well, we're having an event. It's going to be on the Zap Life platform. It's a new, I got to plug in my computer because I'm seeing a low battery running. So excuse me.
No, we don't want you to drop off the face of the earth.
I'm
Oh
like,
gosh, that happened to me. That happened to me the other day. I joined somebody on their podcast,
yeah.
and we went on for 2 hours and didn't realize we had gone on so long. I thought for sure I'd have enough batteries, so I had to say to him, "I don't mean to be rude, but we've got to cut it off because otherwise I'm going to drop off the cliff here, and that'll be just a
Well.
rude way to say thank you to your viewers."
Goodbye.
Yeah. I'm out.
Well, we've got power, so we're good now.
Yes, yay!
Well, you guys are both in California, and that's questionable. I understand.
Well,
Well, yeah,
that's
today,
very
tomorrow,
true.
maybe. I mean, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, any second now, PG&E can go, poop.
Yep.
You have no power.
This is a record date. What is this? August 19th, 2020. For posterity. But you guys are having some serious brownout energy issues.
Oh,
in
my
California,
goodness.
from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Well,
It's, wow, it's pretty. There's some records being broken, unfortunately, that nobody wants to break.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
with the heat, it's been terrible for the last week and a half. And in Northern California, for Linton, you guys up there, it's worse because normally the Bay Area is so mild. I mean, most people don't have air conditioners, at least
Yeah.
that live by the coast, and that's gotten to a point where they need them. There are times it can be miserable now.
Yeah, my little brother, he lives in San Francisco, and I'm in the East Bay, and we have air conditioning in our house. And he's like, "Can I stay in your room?" Like,
all your
right,
relatives
you
and
crash
friends from the
here.
coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly, people I had no idea I was related to want to move in for some free air conditioning.
Oh man, it's valuable these days.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
All right, so let's get back to Zap Life. I think you were talking about.
Right.
Yes.
So on the Zap Life platform, we are eventually, we've been designated as the exclusive provider of news for the Zap Life platform. And Zap Life is a great company. It's brand new, but it's an app that allows, basically their tagline is the revolution won't be televised, it will be live streamed. This is an app. Well, yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
I like that.
So it's a live streaming app, and it combines all the best of all the social media platforms all into one app. And what it allows you to do, especially during COVID, is let's just say you're an entertainer and you want to hold a concert. You can hold a concert on this app and have people watching your concert, but these people can all interact. Your audience can all interact with each other, just like if you were at a real concert, right? You see a hot person over there and you want to buy them a drink, you can just click on something and buy them a virtual drink, and they can get a coupon to go, buy a drink later, or you can go into a private room and you can listen to the concert while you two have a conversation.
Well, wait, there's a champagne room?
Wow. There's a champagne room, yes.
Service? Can you get a contact high on this thing?
Absolutely, a virtual contact high.
AI isn't that good yet.
No, but it's getting there.
Can emit that smoke, and you can get the full concert experience.
I'm virtually
We're working
smoking
on it, though.
my virtual high.
Yes.
But the live event will be on the Zap Live platform, and we're going to be inviting a few folks to the event. We're not trying to make this huge, but we are sending out RSVPs. We'll have an if you're interested in it, I'd encourage you to come to OVIS.News and sign up for the live event. I think our reservation page will be going up within the next couple of days, but look out for it. And we are taking a limited number of folks into the launch event, as well as being part of the MVP process, meaning when we launch, we've got our platform up, and we'll be inviting specific people to join. When we go to beta, which we're hoping will be around January or spring of next year, then everybody will be able to join. But we need to be very diligent about who we invite in this first phase, because we want to make sure that we have quality people from all walks of life, all political beliefs on the platform as we develop the ground rules to ensuring trustworthy, verifiable, and accurate information and objective information.
Yeah, we're building a foundation that will set the tone for the community. And it's exciting and it's scary. And Linton, but Linton just has been incredible with this. And if you talk about the ways that blockchain and cryptocurrency affect us, this ignited something in Linton where he took his career and rolled it into something that could make it better. And we both saw that, and that was our immediate connection. But he really has just taken this to another level, and it's very exciting. And I really, really hope this is some meaningful change in our industry.
Well, I mean, Elsa, I love you, as you know. We met. I actually watched the podcast about you that you were the guest on, and that was like, oh my God, her story is amazing. I've got to have this brilliant woman who happens to also be beautiful, which is, just a bonus, on my team.
Makeup and lights can do a lot of things.
Hey, whatever.
Whatever. I don't care.
That's why God made Clairol, right?
That's right. And
hey, I gotta give
lights.
Look, superstar Elsa, I'll give her credit. When we started traveling the world and shooting segments, and a co-producer was like, "Bill, we got to have a makeup artist travel with us," and I'm like, we can't afford a makeup artist. I mean, unless they
money
can
for
run
that.
a camera, they better tote some gear and run a camera too.
Yeah. Oh no.
I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, I just blew the budget. And we did our best. We were able to get some local talent for that occasionally. But when we were in places where there's clearly no makeup artists or hair people, Elsa just did it herself. And quite frankly, I thought she did better than those people did.
I would think so.
But I give her credit for coming right out of network TV and just sort of saying, "Hey, I can handle it on my own."
Well, you do. You have to remember that Linton and I both have been reporters, and we've been on big breaking stories where you don't have any luxuries, and you better have some protein bars and snacks and water in your bag, and all the essentials that you need. Kit. Your little makeup bag and extra deodorant and all that kind of stuff, because when you're out there covering some things, you have to be self-sufficient. So you can't completely be this diva, although they exist.
But I wanted to go back to the brilliant part of Elsa, because this is where, I mean, she's added so much value to Ovis. I mean, the things that she thinks of, and her mind works in such an amazing way. Just you're so funny, you're fun to be with, but yet you're so smart. It's like you really have pushed me to think differently and to reinvent my own self, and that's the value she brings to the team. And I love how, you know, she's a reporter, so she questions everything.
We all do.
And that's a good thing. Yeah, I know. But I mean, you really forced me to be a better version of myself. So I just want to say thank you for being part of this project.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And likewise, and I hope for many more years working together. And Bill, I really hope we've answered yours and everybody else's questions on this.
I'm a lot more excited about this than I was before the podcast.
I mean, it
seriously.
just, yeah, good. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. And look, Bill doesn't blow sunshine. I can tell you, Linton, he's not that, he doesn't sugarcoat stuff. So, when he says something, he absolutely means it.
Hey,
so
I've been accused of that.
Sometimes I think we're like Scully and Mulder from the X-Files. In a way.
I don't have red hair, do I?
Yeah, no, but the way you and I are not, we do have some similar things and beliefs. I'd say generally we do, but there are things where then we totally split.
That's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah, if you see George Soros, please tell him I want my check.
Yeah, well, he owes me a lot of money.
Yeah, owes you too, right?
I don't know what for, but he's probably does.
That's right.
Well, we lost Linton momentarily. Hopefully he'll come back in a second and say goodbye. But
want him to say goodbye and leave us with some final thoughts.
The perils of internet streaming in today's world, especially when we have every child in the world doing a Zoom call. So, I had to get extra bandwidth into my house for our 3 kids because it's just like a little school going on here. And I knew it was a sign of the times when I went by my 10-year-old daughter's bedroom yesterday, and the door was closed, and she made a little sign that says, "I'm in a Zoom call. Please be quiet."
When our kids are like, "Do not enter. I have a Zoom call right now. I can take you at 11:30.
Yeah, I'm on a Zoom, so be quiet. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. So, I know. That's where we are right now. Linton's back.
Sorry that I thought maybe we had a PG&E outage there. Well, who
perils
doesn't?
of live TV. That's it.
That's right. Yeah.
You come down, you go right back up. It happened to me the last podcast we did. I mean, except I think I was gone for 7-8 minutes, which
She's
seemed like an eternity
coffee.
to Bill.
She'll be back.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, the internet just crashed here. So. But we wanted you to be able to
this to sign off.
Yeah, we wanted you to come on.
So I've had
your final thoughts.
Yeah, but before that, I did. I've had the name of your organization on the screen, but I can't recall if we actually said it properly for the viewers. We'll put it in the show notes, but. It's OVIS.News, OVIS.News, but where can they reach you if they want to reach out to you?
So you can reach out to me through the contact section on OVIS.News if you want. You can get me on Twitter at Linton. What is my handle? At Linton E. Johnson. At Linton Johnson _Johnson. That's what it is. Man, I've got so many handles I can't remember. And on Facebook and on Telegram as well. Linton Johnson on Telegram. I'm probably most useful on Telegram. That's one of my favorite ways to communicate is Telegram. And Twitter is fine too.
But yeah, we do have a page on the OVIS website with the founders and advisory board and ways to contact us, just like Linton said, via email or social media.
Yeah, Linton at Ovis.News if you want to email me the old-fashioned way.
The oldfashioned way to email.
Yeah. Back in my day, we used to email each other.
I know.
And it was fabulous. We wrote wait for an email. Right, wait for an email. And that ding. That ding, we all waited for the ding.
Oh, I'd have to say that I didn't get it and it ended up in my junk mail.
Yeah, the junk mail. Oh, it's terrible. Those are good old days, though. Good old days of junk mail.
Yes, good old-fashioned email.
Good
too,
old fashioned
always
email. It
works.
still works. Well, final thoughts. Listen, I'm very excited to get OVIS started. We are going to disrupt the media industry. And, the truth always wins out. So OVIS is going to win. We've got to do this big. We're not planning on just making a ripple in the ocean. We plan on being a tidal wave. And we are going to be a tidal wave of truth. And it's going to be a reckoning on the corporate media. And it's going to take all of us. This is a community about we the people, for the people, by the people. It's about all of us getting together and telling the truth together and not letting these corporate influences try to derail us. So if you want the truth, if you believe in the truth, you want to be part of that, then you're going to want to be part of OVIS. This is not going to be owned by anybody except us, the people, we the people. And I don't care what part of the world you come from, what political belief that you have, what race you are. This platform is for all of us because the truth is for everyone.
Linton Johnson for president.
No.
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 I don't want that job. I would never want that job.
No,
Good
my
God.
gosh, no. But thank you.
Oh no, Linton, thank you. I'm so looking forward to what the future holds for everybody. And we'll keep plugging along and we'll keep bringing you on and giving everybody updates on how everything's going too.
Well, I'd love that. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me on. And Bill, as always, wonderful talking to you. And thank you for all the questions. And thank
Good
you
luck.
guys. Thank you.
All right, Linton, take care. Have a wonderful day.
You guys, see you later. And thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I meant to get him back on there. Text him and tell him to get back on here.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Okay, I'll
here.
text him now. Hi.
I'm here.
Dave. Oh, you're still there. Good, Linton.
Yeah, I thought I hung up, but I just turned my camera off.
Well,
Dave just walked in right when we
ended
finished.
the broadcast, but I'm not sure.
I
I think
We might
we're
still be live
live,
streaming, so
but,
don't pick your nose.